What is up, fascists of the future? I'm Henry Sweets. Today we've got an interesting story for you. One you've all heard about, but we still want to give our freaking opinion on it nonetheless. Because that's what we do at Skeptic Alert. Sometimes. Sometimes we just give our opinions. Sometimes we objectively report the news. Other times we say, fuck that. We think this is bullshit. And this is an example of something that we think is bullshit. So here we go. On January 20th, 2017 of this year, the self-proclaimed founder of the alt-right, Richard Spencer, was being interviewed when he was sucker punched right in his fucking face. Right in his big, fat, alt-right, neo-Nazi, fucking black people hating, immigrant kicking out of the country loving, white supremacist ass face. BAM! He got punched! And the attacker fled. Surprise there, right? Well, we in no way agree with Spencer or his political views here at Skeptic Alert, and generally in this community. We're all for free speech. That is one of the things that we are for, and we are very much for it. We are hardcore for it. We are also anti-censorship. Censorship, as we say, is bullshit. Freedom to express opinions is the most important part of democracy and republics, because without it, we only have sheep. Meh! Stupid fucking sheep. Voting for ideologies from their shallow understandings of things they feel they don't need to know to be right. Political violence is hard censorship of a person's or group. This incident is even more appropriately described as domestic terrorism. Just as in the manner seen recently. And no excuse should give amnesty to this atrocious behavior. Not okay. It's not okay to punch people. It's just not. I mean, unless it's self-defense. But this wasn't that, okay? It's not that. This is not okay. Period. Even if you can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt a person fits the description of a Nazi, which only seems to be disagreeing with the hard left, if they are not actively harming or putting a plot to harm into action, there is no one with any right to attack them physically. End of story. Period. With the obsession with political correctness, there has been an era of suppressed speech. It has created people that feel speech that angers them is a justification to assault people. That words are just as harmful as physical violence. Should we really be surprised that anyone that disagrees with them is as bad as a Nazi in their eyes? No. This isn't a partisan issue. If you're okay with it happening to people on the right, how long before they move far enough left that you're on the right? How long before the ones these fascists fight for have the power to tell you to shut your peasant mouth, you filthy fucking whore? How long? It's a good question. For reference, let's cover what makes a Nazi, alright? A Nazi is a white supremacist that calls for the rounding up and extermination of inferior races with National Socialist views. They use organized military tactics to dominate nations. That is what a Nazi is. That is the definition of a Nazi. A Nazi is not some guy walking on the street that you then decide, you know what, I don't like that guy. What was he saying? What was that? What? BLM is a terrorist group? Oh, you fucking Nazi! Fucking Nazi! No, that's not a Nazi. That's just someone that you said was a Nazi so that you could feel justified in punching them in the face. Because let's fucking face it, we all want to punch Nazis in the face. I want to punch Nazis in the face. Sometimes I wish I could travel back to 1942, specifically December 30th of 1942, and I would go to Stalingrad, and I would walk up to a Nazi, and I would punch him as hard as I could right in his fucking German Nazi schnoz. Boom! But hey, we can't always get what we want, and we can't go around claiming people are Nazis when they're not, and then punching them in the face. It's not okay, it's not acceptable, it's childish. Come on, you don't like what somebody has to say? Then go up and tell him that. Tell him why. Why do you disagree with him? Huh? What do you have to... You know, use your brain. Don't use your fucking weak, limp-wristed fist. Grow up. It takes more balls to go up to somebody like that than to walk up and sucker punch them. And it was a sucker punch. You didn't even try to fight him. You just sucker punched him. That's even worse. Sucker punch. Now, white nationalists like Spencer, these people typically feel as though whites should have their own nation, an ethno-state. They rally, they meet, they talk about their goals and their ambitions, and they talk about stuff that I find amusing. They are a small group, but only grow as the left demonizes them and whites. The left demonizing whites, though, do they? Or is that just how some white people feel in regards to racial talks and debates between the left and the right? We're sure you've heard by now about the UC Berkeley riots that erupted because of a talk Milo was going to give there. Now, Milo is neither a Nazi nor a white nationalist. The guy is a race-mixing homosexual, as they'd say, both of which neither Nazis nor nationalists appreciate in any form. Now, Milo Yiannopoulos didn't even have a chance to speak before a riot broke out, and his audience, some not even supporters, just people wanting to hear, were assaulted. How ridiculous is that? Some people, they're not even supporting him. They're just there to listen, or they're just random bystanders, and they get attacked because they're there. Like a freaking herd of retarded rhinoceroses running through the African Serengeti, just hitting everything in sight. Just... Be funny. It's ridiculous. We can't let this continue. We can't let this escalate. For power will slip even further from the hands of the people. Though that's what these anti-fascists want. Because they want to be in control. They want to tell you what to think and what to say. But we're not going to let them win. Fight the power. Before that happens, we have to warn you that these criminals won't go unscathed for long. Those of you that condone, those of you that celebrate, you won't be here for long either. The revolution is coming. You'll have to mourn the losses of your heroes. When they punch or attack someone and they don't back down, people will retaliate and they won't hold back. They won't stop. They'll be ruthless. While the media will blame the people on the right, you will all know the truth. That it's really the SJWs, which unfortunately have sullied the reputation. Not that there was necessarily a good one, but they've definitely poopied in the reputation of everything left and liberal. They've poisoned it. They've made people that were Democrats and liberals go sometimes far to the right, like to the dark side of the right, to the Trump side of the right, to the religious side of the right. They sully and they poop on everything, and they're the ones that want to punch Nazis in the face. And honestly, I see nothing wrong with punching a Nazi in the face. And by Nazi, I mean an actual legitimate definition of a fucking Nazi. I mean a goddamn fucking war criminal. I mean a fucking somebody who escaped the Nuremberg trials. You know, I'm talking somebody who gassed 1,000 Jews and laughed. Ha ha ha! That's what I'm fucking talking about. I'm talking about a goddamn fucking German Nazi. An authentic Nazi. I would punch one in the face too, because we all want to punch Nazis. Everybody wants to punch Nazis. And by labeling somebody a Nazi, it's just a justification for you to take out your physical aggression on them and scapegoat them for all your fucking woes and anguishes. Oh, society's going to shit. It must be the fucking Nazis. Goddamn Nazis! Punch them in the face! But the reality is, they're not Nazis. They're just normal goddamn fucking Americans with views that just happen to be the polar opposite of the people that are claiming they're Nazis. And that's where the writer of our show makes a very good and valid point. How long until you're the Nazi? You know, I'm pretty far left. And how long until I'm far right because they just keep pushing it? How long until I'm a fucking Nazi? How long until a bunch of pussy little fucking faggoty SJWs are knocking on my door to punch me in the face because I'm a fucking Nazi? Any goddamn day! It's so ironic. The fascists. The anti-fascists. I just got... Same thing. So what did we learn today? We've learned that violence is generally not okay. 99% of the time, it's just not a good solution to your problem. You have a problem? Try to solve it without hurting other people physically. You know what else it shows? It shows that these people, the ones committing the violence, are not very smart. Because that's not how you win an argument. Clearly they have no... The person that did it, at least, had no solid argument. Why don't you just come up and debate him? Just be like, hey, guess what? Facts! It's not hard to debate a freaking white supremacist. They're not very smart either. It's not hard to debate a white supremacist. I've done it many times. So violence is bad. Let's not punch Nazis. No, actually, let me rephrase that. Violence is bad. Let's punch Nazis. Let's punch all the Nazis that we can find. Though most of them are dead, some of them are in their mid to late 90s. And if you really want to punch a 98-year-old Nazi in the face, I guess go for it. It's kind of weird. They're old and they're like... You mean they're like babies, like big babies that poop their pants and wear diapers in a nursing home? You want to do that? Then go for it. I give you my blessing. But if you want to label some person on the street a Nazi that's not a fucking Nazi and then punch them in the face and then feel fucking good about it, then just drink bleach, as they say in the YouTube Twitter sphere. Or, you know what? Just don't breed. Just don't breathe. Just stop. Get smarter. Educate yourself. You know? I thought you were supposed to be looking up to people like Gandhi and Martin Luther King. They did everything that they wanted to do without violence. And they did it successfully. There's a reason they were so successful, and it was because they weren't violent. So read some Martin Luther King material, read Gandhi's biography, you know, go to an ashram, meditate a little bit, you know, lick your girlfriend's face, you know, chill, smoke some pot, like, this is my B reel. This is my, Henry's a maniac! Ah! You're not a Nazi, right?
I'm the manic depressive sound mechanic, soaking up your love like a dirty sponge. I don't like them, but I can pretend to have so much fun. Anti-social, lying commercial, beating on my head like a broken drum. I don't want them, but I can pretend to have so much fun.
Those of you out there that think violence is the option will fail. it'll blow up in your face, and it'll ruin anything that you stand for. So if you truly believe in things like gender equality and equality amongst the races, then for the love of God, don't use violence as a means to obtain that, because you will ruin it. You give power to the people that you're trying to take power away from. When you punch one of those people in the face, you give them the power. You're giving them the power. Now they have more power. That's one of the reasons why Trump is in office, you fucking idiots. You gave the one person you didn't want to have power through your ludicrous, immature fucking actions. You are fucking yourselves. It's like an Ouroboros, only instead of a snake eating its own tail, it's a fucking SJW sucking his own cock.